Hey guys, I'm Jared Dennison. I'm a realtor with... I'm just going to be doing a fun little YouTube series, basically going over the reality of what real estate is behind the scenes, both from an agent perspective as well as from a buying, selling, or investing perspective. Try to break down some myths. We'll talk about what you see versus what the reality is, and then we'll also have guests on and just talk about like some of the fun niches that happen throughout different real estate transactions or just in our market in general. I'm gonna have a co-host, Kyle Baker. He won't be on these first few episodes, but he'll be on the rest of them from this point forward. We might bounce back and forth with a couple of individual episodes and stuff like that, but overall we're just trying to bring you some fun stuff and just have a little bit of fun on something that's a very stressful topic. Okay, here's a fun one. With regard to how agents produce and how they market themselves, I thought a fun thing to talk about would be, what does it mean when an agent says, I'm a $1 million producer, or they say that they closed X amount in volume, or they say I closed an amount of transactions. So these are three different ways of expressing what's essentially the same thing. How good are you at your job, or how many sales did you close for customers? Some agents who might be either newer or just don't produce on the same level as agents that are agents they look up to will say, hey, I'm a $1 million producer, or I won this award for $1 million producer in my brokerage. As a consumer, what you need to be careful about is understanding what that means. So as someone who is outside the industry, I might have looked at that and thought, my God, that person made so much money in real estate. Like, that's nuts. They're a $1 million producer. Like, how would I even do that, you know? The reality of what that situation is that they sold $1 million in total volume of sales, which means that the price or the purchase price or sales price of the homes that they closed and, you know, closed for their clients, selling side, buying side investors combined, was $1 million. Well, when you break that down, that could be 3 houses of $333,000 each, right? That'd be $999,000. Now you're thinking, okay, well, you only sold 3 houses all year. You know, is that really a top producing agent? You know, is that really a benchmark for an agent that I respect or want working for me? And if you do, that's fine. That's your decision. But at the same time, you need to understand what those numbers actually mean. When people talk about what they closed in volume, that's the same number. It's the amount of sales multiplied, or the amount of purchase price. So if you sold a $200,000 house, a $500,000 house, and a $300,000 house, 2 plus 5 plus 3, you get 10, which would be $1 million worth of sales. Same concept. They would pitch that as, I closed $1 million in volume, or I closed a total of 3 transactions this year. However they spin it, you just need to be aware of what that means. The same goes for transactions. Let's go back to that $1 million listing, or the $1 million situation we just talked about. Sounds like a lot at first. You break it down, it doesn't sound like a lot. The same could be said for an agent that says, I closed 55 homes last year. That's pretty outstanding, right? That's a lot of homes to sell in a 1-year period. But what if those 55 units were all in one condo association and they happen to be the listing agent for all of them? Well, now that might not be as impressive, right? It's probably that they were the number one agent. Maybe they were either handed that because they, you know, had a connection, or maybe they worked their butts off and got that, but that was the only thing they focused on all year long. Is that necessarily a market professional that you want to trust for your home in a different area? When you talk to an agent, you need to interview them, right? Just as much as they're trying to get you to be their client or customer, depending on what transaction you have, and we can go into that in later episodes. You need to be able to interview them and understand what these concepts are. So just find out what's important to you, and maybe try to research what a good benchmark is for a top agent in your area, and make sure you make that choice. So that's $1 million producer uncovered. Another one I wanted to focus on for this shorter version of a video was the idea that $0 down payment means that you don't spend any money to buy a house, okay? $0 down payment programs can be very beneficial, right? The less down payment means less cash out of your pocket. That's better for you financially in certain situations. However, there always are going to be closing costs. We're gonna go into this in later episodes, especially when I have Kyle on here, but just understand that $0 down does not mean that you pay $0 to buy the home. There are down payments for your loan and there are closing costs, and we'll go into that. If you have specific questions about buying and you are getting tripped up in the process, please reach out to us because that's what we specialize in. But I just want you guys to understand that, especially my veterans that I hold dear to my heart, $0 down does not mean you pay $0 to get a house. And that's just one other mystery unlocked and uncovered. And again, we'll continue to address these further and really get into a deep dive in later episodes. Again, thanks for tuning in, and you can always reach us directly on our cell phones or via email, which is always posted at the end of the video as well as in the comments. Thanks.